Hello, 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 hello. All right. As always, I think I'm a bit behind, but we're going to let it roll and see where we can get to. I didn't fix my hair since the headline hits, but we're going to go. Okay, so um, this is an idea I had that I would just roll through my save videos from social media um and give kind of thoughts of why I saved it, what it invokes in me, and maybe get a laugh or see just like kind of spark commentary. All right, so let's get into it. First video we have is this one.
Between a diplomat and a lady. I don't know whether you've ever heard that or not. But if a diplomat says yes, he means maybe. If he says maybe, he means no. And if he says no, he's no diplomat. And if a lady says no, she means maybe. And if she says maybe, she means yes. And if she says yes, she's no lady. So he probably got maybe and didn't know whether it was coming from the diplomat.
Okay, so we'll stop it there. That one, I really like this one because it's a great tongue-in-cheek joke. If you can remember it correctly, the diplomat and the lady. The diplomat, if he says no, he's not a real diplomat. If a lady says yes, she's not a real lady. So it just kind of goes to the underlying essences of those two types of people. A diplomat is one who is meant to kind of engage and never lose hope in building a productive relationship. So I think that's where the rooted in never say no, because you tell someone no, it may harden that relationship and come off as harsh. So a real diplomat who will never give up on relationship building and bridge building would never outright say no. And looking at the flip side of that coin, as far as saying yes, because a diplomat would love to say yes in this kind of scenario of they want to build bridges. They would love to be able to tell people yes, but sometimes stuff don't line up, so they have to say maybe. Going over to the lady side of it, saying yes is kind of like the defining, like, no, if someone says yes, if a woman says yes, then she's not a lady, meaning to romantic relationships outright, or some kind of illicit romantic relationship of a lady comes outright and says yes, I'm with it. That's a good indication that may not be a lady, and I'm sure that's charged with all kind of different wave of feminism that kind of gets into this, but that's the way I see it. And I agree that like a lady is supposed to be chaste. So just like how the worst thing a diplomat could say is no, because it means he's losing hope in building bridges. The worst thing a lady could say is yes to illicit sexual relationships, because your chastity is everything, quite literally, when it comes to marriage and marriage into certain levels of other families and of other social structures and just religious piety. It matters. So that's why I saved this clip. This clip I thought was very deep, as well as very tongue-in-cheek. I gotta start trying to be more funny on these videos. That way, that just lets you know that, everyone has their buttons. So, and just to talk a little bit about Khabib, like he's Khabib Nurmagomedov. He's an undefeated Muslim fighter who was unapologetically Muslim, like a vocal, a visible advertisement for Islam. Like I can't think of and I find it as one of the miracles of Islam that in every time they will have peak undefeated fighters who will show the value of an Islamic way of life and Islamic purity of mind. And I hope in some of these clips I'll get to show you Firas Zahabi, who trained Georges St. Pierre. Just not trying to get down a rabbit hole, but Khabib is that guy. He really is. Let's see what we got with this Joe Rogan clip.
Have you ever seen that video?
No.
Pull that video up, because it's one of my favorites.
There will come opportunities in life, when they're presented to you, in front of you. It's just a matter of whether you're not prepared to take advantage of the opportunity. But you got to develop that resilience within you. Life is not about how much you succeed. It's about what happens when you fail. Right? So life is, you could look at like, man, what's been inspiring for me? If you said, oh, Tom, what are the greatest wins? I'd be like, the wins. Let's talk about the losses. Those are the ones that really.
Yeah, no, and that's interesting. I probably was a bit more in my Philly feels when I saved that video, needing some inspiration, but definitely resonates the idea of failure and how that failure is a stark motivator. Like nothing gets you in the gym like being broken up. Like all these things are rightful cliches in today's modern age because they're really true, tried and true. Now, this next video, I'm probably gonna have a nice amount to talk about. Astaghfirullah, look, they've put a Israeli flag over Sheikh Hamza Yusuf. Let's see what may have justified this, if anything could.
يعني لو الفلسطينيون تركوا العنف وفعلا يعني قالوا نحن ضعاف، نحن عجزة، ساعدونا، والله سيرون كثير من العالم يتعاطفوا معهم، لكن لم يضربوا بهذه الأسلحة التافهة ضد هذه.
I forgot it was in Arabic. My bad.
يعني لو الفلسطينيون
If Palestinians lead
تركوا
violence
العنف
and instead
وفعلا
we
يعني
can help us,
قالوا
help us.
نحن ضعاف، نحن عجزة، ساعدونا، والله سيرون كثير من العالم يتعاطفوا معهم، لكن لم يضربوا بهذه الأسلحة التافهة ضد هذه الأسلحة القوية تدمر كل شيء. ثم الناس يظنون أن هذا هم اعتدوا عليهم. هذا هو النظام.
Okay, so definitely a lukewarm or hot take by Sheikh Hamza. I take the paraphrase as to say that he was telling Palestinians to take a Selma, Alabama, Martin Luther King nonviolent approach to let the oppressors oppress and let the world see them as completely peaceful and non-combative resistant. And by such, that would engender much more support for the Palestinian cause, because it would be harder for misperception to be spread through the media of actual instances of Palestinian rockets coming. Palestinian rockets meaning rockets fired by a majority Palestinian militia group or people to the Israeli side. So you have rockets. So if rockets were never flowing, if bullets were never fired, if suicide bombs were never done, then you have basically Selma, Alabama, and the American public couldn't stomach seeing Selma, Alabama on the TV. So it led to more proactive change in the general population, which in this case would be the world population, because I think there's little chance that Israeli citizens would change the way they feel if Palestinians were peaceful, because we have examples of peaceful protests in Palestine. The March of Great Return was a peaceful protest where medics and children and handicapped people, disabled people were shot hundreds of feet from the fence and this and that. So Israelis don't have a good history of not being violent in the face of peace. But it sounds like Sheikh Hamza is saying here that that if they took or as Dr. Cornel West would like to call it, a agape type love, a love where a shooter can go into AME Black Church, a white racist shooter can go in there wanting to kill black people, and for the family of those same black people who had their loved ones slaughtered, for them to immediately say, we forgive this shooter, we hold no animus, and we love him and we pray for him, pray that God or as they may see it, Christ forgives this young man. That's powerful. That is extremely powerful. But it's also extremely predictable that those kind of arguments would not satisfy that initial anger for revenge and vengeance when we see the kind of anti-human genocide that happens from a more powerful country to a lesser country. So it's kind of hard to keep your rage and your desire for vengeance in check, instead of trying to think of what is the most proactive solution to minimize further death of innocent life. So, but like I was saying, you have to be of that community to make unpopular arguments. If you're outside of that community, I feel like you're just supposed to come off as enraged and want for, complete military victory or something like along those lines, or complete victory, whatever it may be. But not being from a community and making an objective analysis about an unpopular opinion or pathway to take, can expect this kind of blowback. The Israeli flag over the face, I think, is way over like the level of disrespect that we have for for our shuyukh and for our leaders is completely disgraceful. So I'll actually just scoot up so I don't have to keep having that on there. But yeah, like the level of disrespect we show our shuyukh. And also another opinion about the Palestinian issue is about whether a hijrah should be made, whether oppressed people who are being slaughtered should make hijrah as is in the tradition of the Islamic tradition. But I haven't studied enough to make an educated presentation on that, and I think it's widely too sensitive to take a position on. The issue is very, very important and very, very sensitive to many people. But I think the Islamic tradition should be reflected upon no matter what our personal desires or whims may be. All right, going into another video that just really shows I don't even want to play that video right now. This video right here is from a podcast called Two Jewish Guys. And they, well, I'll just let you hear it. I'll let you hear this vile filth that coming on that they're putting into the airways. Just as I'm talking to you, this is how they talk to their audience.
It's nice to know that you're dancing in a concert whilst hundreds of thousands of Gazans are,
homeless,
and like sitting in a tent and eating.
Makes it even better.
Yeah.
More enjoyable concert.
Makes it
If
more
only
enjoyable knowing
if only they
that
put
they're-
live video footage of Gaza. But seriously, you guys like that. That's what people don't understand. Look, like I know that you guys might be appalled by this, some of the listeners, but seriously, this is how Israelis feel.
And you might think that Eitan Weinstein and Naor, who like refuses to kind of back
Me up on it publicly.
I'm from the UN.
Yeah, he's the UN. But you might think I'm extreme. But it's